In this demo, we will show you how to add breakpoints to your logic and how you can debug it. We already have an app open in ODC Studio with the order detail screen. In this screen, we can create a new order or edit an existing one. The Save button triggers the Save on Click action where there's some data validation and the logic to create or update an order. To showcase the debugger, we will stop the execution of this Save on Click action while running the application in the browser. For that, let's start by adding a breakpoint in the start node of the action. Having the breakpoint set, we can now start the debugger. When the breakpoint was added, the Debugger tab opens with the Start Debugging option available. We can also start the debugger through ODC Studio's top menu. Let's start the debugger using the first option. The debugger opens in a new browser window, which should be used to debug the application. Let's interact with the app, create a new order and click on the Save button. At this point, the execution in the browser stopped and it moved back to ODC Studio. We can see that the execution is in the Start node, where the breakpoint was defined. Also, the debugging options are now visible on the Debugger tab. Let's execute the flow step by step. In every step, we can see the values of the variables being used in the In Use tab. By changing to other tabs, we can see more information such as values of variables local to the scope or in widgets. We can then continue the execution step by step, and then proceed with the request whenever we want to. Notice that the execution changed back to the browser since the request finished. Let's close the browser and stop the debugger. Back in ODC Studio, let's add another breakpoint and start the debugger again. Let's add a new order, similarly to what we have done in the previous step. As expected, the execution stopped in the Start node. If we continue the request, we can see that the execution stops in the next breakpoint. This way we can easily jump between breakpoints and move on from there. To wrap up, let's just continue the request which will finish since there's no more breakpoints.